Welcome back. Trump's Great American Recovery and the Ballroom lawsuit. A $100 million plan for the streets, a $400 million ballroom at the White House, and a war on federal architecture. President Trump has had a busy week reshaping both the American economy and the American Capitol. Today, HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. announced a $100 million street initiative to fight homelessness and addiction, a centerpiece of Trump's new executive order for a great American recovery. But while the president focuses on the streets, he's also facing a legal firestorm over the White House itself. The National Trust for Historic Preservation has filed a lawsuit to stop the demolition of the East Wing, where Trump is building a $400 million ballroom. From painting the Eisenhower building white to adding its name to the Kennedy Center, the president is literally rewriting the look of Washington, D.C. We saw the missiles in Nigeria, the raids in Venezuela. Now Trump is putting his stamp on the very architecture of power. So my question here, sir, is this beautification or the building of a new dynasty? Let us have your analysis, sir.
Thank you very much. Straight out of, what we already know, historical antecedents and practical situations, existential situations under well-known self-perpetuating and self-flagellating and deluded characters. They are the ones who do things like that. They want to, stamp their faces on commemorative coins, to want to erect structures instead of allowing the judgment of history and their successors to do it. Because this is almost a reminder to what many of us witnessed in the different developing countries where we were born before we embraced naturalized citizenship in the United States of America. Probably you remember those times when we were in Nigeria during the reigns of the military, Abacha and maybe somebody like Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida before him, who used to call himself a military presidency. And over the years, people even looked at the anachronistic title itself of being a military president. You cannot be a president unless you are elected. So being military and then calling yourself a president, people first tore that down as being oxymoronic. And you saw it when Babangida authored a book recently. People started, doing all kinds of critiques on that kind of anomaly, that he was never a president. You look at that, when he was in office, nobody could look him in the face. But the judgment of history, the pronouncement of history today is saying that it was really improper for him to have called himself a military president, because he was never elected as such. He remained a despot, pure and simple. Number two, in those years, you remember how ludicrous images, iconic, what do you call it, artworks were erected. Life-size stuff about sculptures about Ibrahim Babangida. You remember the one that stood right around the market, the main urban market, Erekeson in Akure, around the central mosque there. When Babangida did the unthinkable by way of annulling June 12, 1993 election, and people started protesting. That image that stood like that of Nebuchadnezzar in Babylon was what the people first went for. That was where they vented their anger. They did not just smash the head of Babangida through that symbolic image. They pulled it down completely and shoved it into bits. Today, that thing is no more there. That is one big lesson that people like Donald Trump should learn. Unfortunately, yeah, America is a place for multicultural, is a place where every kind of experience got distilled, and you can say, oh, what can we learn from other parts of the world? There is something that recommends itself for President Donald Trump here. Maybe he should get somebody to help him Google the works of famous Yoruba traditional poet, Ewi exponent, like the legendary Tubosun, Mr. Olatubosun Oladapo, or Elder Olatubosun Oladapo. That masterpiece that he produced, his album titled Ason Ninu Ason, Vanity Upon Vanity. I mean, you only live for now. Leave the judgment on what would be, what you will be remembered for. Building of monuments in your honor. Leave it to your successors. Leave it to the system. So if people now go to the law court and then they are slamming all manners of suits against him, it's deserving. It's something he has invited for himself. I do not know where this kind of obsession is coming from, other than something that is being copied from the books of dictatorship and authoritarianism. Nobody lives there forever. Nobody lives there forever. There are better things to be done with the resources available to the United States than building a whooping, staggering ballroom for $400 million. Even if it's just $2 million, that's a lot. You're talking of dollars. I'm not talking of an annual kind of currency like the naira or probably the yen or Zimbabwean dollar. You're talking of a worthy green note like the dollar. So $2 million would even raise an eyebrow. But how about conservation? These things that have been there, that have been emblematic of the various achievements and institutions of people. What is the idea of Trump, Kennedy Memorial, whatever? Kennedy Memorial. Donald Trump is still alive, is building something in his own memorial. I do not understand. He's not a grave man yet. He's doing all these things. Can somebody just assist him to understand that, sir, you are still alive? Those things are done for the dead by way of trying to immortalize them. There are other worthy things that used to recommend America for the admiration of all kinds of people and to look up to America as a liberating force. All those things are there. That is not the attraction. The unthinkable is being done today. Removal of chairman of what's it called? Federal Reserve Bank. Is it normal? Absolutely not. Bringing out high people on the streets to aim guns at American citizens. Is that something that Americans were ever used to? No. And look at the result already. This last weekend in Texas, the hold of Republican Party on congressional seat was torpedoed in a Fort Worth area. The Democrats unexpectedly won, and to think that Donald Trump won that area by 17 points during the last election, just a little over a year ago, and now the Democrat that is taking that seat has won by 14 points. Isn't that something that they should be of concern to Donald Trump. Already, Donald Trump is distancing himself from. He said he was not aware of the race there, but only last week he was on his social media handle. I mean, posting like 3 different times about that, thinking he had the momentum. The moment that road had been torpedoed, now he has distanced himself. So these things come with serious consequences that you would want to ride on your citizens roughshod. And the thing that used to be the matter of bragging rights for him was immigration. But even on that now, it's under waters. It's under waters. And in the same state of Texas, another thing was on the ballot. I think a by-election for some state senate seat. The Democrats were able to flip it against Republicans as well. So the game has started already. The margin of majority between Democrats and Republicans is fast shrinking in the Congress, I mean, in the House of Representatives. It's fast shrinking. So what does that portend? Americans would put all the so-called achievements and self-glorification stuff by Donald Trump on the ballot. If he's well-deserving, they would give him more encouragement to continue with the way it's been going. But if they are dissatisfied, you can be sure that Americans would contain him. That is why this system is what it is. Very strong institutions that can rein people in. You win some, you lose some. But so far, by way of popular assessment, it looks like Donald Trump is holding the losing end of the stick right there. That is one lesson for the government in Nigeria as well. Remember, you do not do well. People don't need to be jumping from one party into the one that they call the center. That is really strange to me. You maintain your lane and put that to the test, but Nigerians are not willing to do that because the name of the game in Nigeria is greed and avarice. It's greed and avarice. If we don't belong to the government in the center, we are not going to get enough, and the government there to weaponize it that, so long you people are for us, things will come to you. How much does Nigeria really have? It's almost like a struggling man bringing King Sunny Ade to town or Wasiu Ayinde to town. Is he not going to pauperize himself? How much does Nigeria have that they have to now induce and play the game of rewarding everybody that kisses up to the ruling government there? Instead of just maintaining statutorily, you will still get what you will get by way of budgetary allocation. Whatever comes to your state will still come. You don't need to jump boat. That is one good thing about the American system. Everybody is digging in. The so-called redistricting stuff in the state of Texas and the invasion of the street of Minnesota with the high street, that is now dealing serious backlash on Donald Trump. And then one more thing, this initiative to build some landmark, maybe some 250 foot monument that would dwarf the what's it called, the Capitol, and what have you. This kind of funny obsession with big stuff. America is big already. You can only do little as you are led by the electorate and God. You cannot just make it your life dream to just be obsessed with
with yourself.
Bigger, the better. Yeah, you cannot just be about yourself. It's what will serve the interest of the nation. This is it. This is it.
All right. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to know your thoughts and your opinion about this. Thank you. And also help us share the videos to your friends, family, your WhatsApp groups, all of that. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified when we go live. We have some other trendy stories around the world. We'll be right back.